Hey, welcome to the Explainer. We all talk about luck, right? But what if there's a kind of logic hidden behind it? Today, we're going to dig into a source that breaks down what's really going on in our heads when we get superstitious.
All right, let's just dive right in with a question that's going to make you think. Seriously, all those little lucky charms, those rituals you do before a big event, could that stuff actually be holding you back? It sounds kind of crazy, but we're about to unpack the logic behind that very idea.
So, to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to start with something super relatable, something that feels completely harmless. Yeah, we're talking about your lucky socks.
I mean, you know the drill, right? You've got a huge exam, a do-or-die meeting, and without even thinking, you grab that specific pair of socks, or maybe it's a pen. It just feels like a simple, harmless way to get a little edge, a bit of confidence. But what if there's a hidden cost to that habit?
And this is the key idea here. That little act of pulling on some socks, it's a sign of something much deeper going on. Think about it. You're in a situation that needs clear thinking, preparation, real logic, and instead you're handing over a piece of your confidence to an object that has zero actual power. You're outsourcing your brain power.
Okay, so this whole pattern, it's not just some weird quirk you have. This habit of outsourcing our logic actually has a name. It's something psychologists have been studying for a while, and they call it magical thinking.
All right, let's just break that down. Basically, magical thinking is when our brain connects two dots that have absolutely nothing to do with each other. You wore those socks, and then you aced a test. Your brain just draws a line between the two, socks equals success, and assumes one caused the other, even when, logically, there's no way that's true.
And that right there, that's the big mistake our brains make. Just because two things happen together doesn't mean one made the other happen. That's a coincidence, plain and simple. When we start believing it's cause and effect, that's magical thinking, kicking logic right out the door.
All right, so this leads us to a really big fork in the road, mentally speaking. It's about two totally different ways we can approach problems, one based on evidence and logic, and the other based on rituals and superstition. And what's so great here is how it breaks down these two mindsets. On one hand, you've got the evidence-based mind. It's always asking, okay, but what's the proof? How does this actually work? It's actively looking for real connections. But then you have the ritual-based mind. It doesn't need evidence, it just creates a pattern out of a coincidence, leans on that superstition, and pretty much just hopes for the best, leaving the outcome to chance.
And here's why this all really matters. We're not just talking about some psychology textbook theory here. This way of thinking has real, tangible costs, and it's about way more than just what you put on your feet.
So let's just walk through how this goes down in the real world. Step one, a real problem pops up, at work, with your money, whatever. But instead of digging in, analyzing it, and coming up with a smart plan, your brain defaults to the ritual. The hard work of actually thinking through the problem gets completely sidestepped, and because of that, the result is left totally up in the air.
And that's really the punchline here. See, every single time we choose a ritual over real thinking, we're letting our problem-solving skills get rusty. It stops being a cute little habit and starts being a real roadblock to getting things done and dealing with life's challenges effectively.
So, let's leave you with this one question to chew on. Think about the challenges you're facing right now, big or small. Is there any area where you're kind of leaning on a lucky charm or some old ritual instead of just tackling the problem head-on with some clear, logical thinking? Just imagine, what could you really accomplish if you swapped out that superstition for a solid plan?